Shoot to grill, aim to chill. Too many cold ones, I need an Advil, yeah. Shoot to grill, I can't kill. So don't bring me nothing that's got chlorophyll, yeah.
All right, welcome to Shoot to Grill, and we've got a very special episode with some very special meat that we're going to cook up. First, let me introduce our chef before our celebrity guest, because if Sheed was not here, then we wouldn't be eating.
Correct.
Right? So that's very important.
Very true.
Sheed with Phillips BBQ.com, barbecue company. By the way, they have the most comfortable T-shirts known to man. Sheed, welcome back to the podcast. We appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you having me. Every single time I get amazed.
And in between us is a buddy of mine. He's on an extremely popular television show that runs Wednesday nights on CBS at 10 o'clock called SEAL Team.
That's right.
Judd Lormand is with us on this episode of Shoot to Grill. Judd, thanks for being here, brother.
Dude,
man.
thanks for having me, and it's awesome to be here. And when you asked me, I said yes. That was before I knew about the meat.
Well, I
said cooking it up.
I said, well, what do you want? I mean, what did you
He
expect?
said, what kind of meat did you want? I'm like, I don't know, yeah. And then I realized what we were doing. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So, yeah, it's really great to be here.
You probably thought that I was going to take you out to dinner
I was
afterwards.
like, yeah, that's not necessary, you know.
Well, what did you
awesome,
what
yeah.
did you say, Judd? You responded back. I said, Judd, what kind of meat would you want? And you were like, anything red or steaks or something like that.
Yeah, I
right?
just basically said it's pretty rare that I meet a steak I don't like.
True.
I'm a steak guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, any cut you want, I'm there.
Well, we get, and it's very important as we do this podcast from Atlanta Grill Company in Roswell, Georgia, and we cook a lot on the Kamado Joe. It's just one of my favorite grills to cook on. Not that I'm cooking, but she's cooking. And it makes a difference, that Kamado-style cooking. And I was explaining to you, Judd, before we started this, that it's a game changer. You got to get one at the house, or I'll invite you over to the house. I don't know how much grilling you do at the
Not
Lormand
enough,
house.
that's for sure.
It's really amazing, but it also, and I say this on a lot of episodes of the podcast, is that it all depends on the meat.
Right.
The meat's very Terry, I don't know where you're going. I'm getting ready to cue you to come on the show. Because this is where we get the meat. So Terry Smith, who's now changed the name of his company for the 8th time. Come on in, Terry. Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Get on Sheed's mic.
Get on mine right here.
There you go.
Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. So explain the fillets that you have ponied up here, please.
All right, thank you, Jason. Today we brought some center cut Angus fillets that you get in some of the finest steakhouses in the city. They're all center cut. They're 8 ounces, and they will cook up to perfection on the KJ.
Yeah.
And if you'd like some of these great products, just give us a call at 770-873-2733, and we'll deliver right to your house.
Like literally, he will. I mean, okay. So Judd, let me explain mine and Terry's relationship. So we play tennis together. He's the coach. He's the captain, and he's got this truck, and he's got all the meats in the back. And I keep telling people, I'm like, if you're gonna spend the time to grill, make sure the meats are good. So Terry will come to your house, and like he just opens up, and it's not like the trunk, but it's like this truck, and it's a freezer. It's a giant freezer on wheels. And he's got all this meat in the back. So that's where we get all of our meat. So he'll ship it to you too, because I mean, not everybody listening to the podcast is here in Atlanta, but he'll ship it to wherever you're at. He'll just take it to your house. So
Marietta's not too far.
No.
Okay.
Anywhere
good to
in
go.
Metro Atlanta, I ship anywhere in Eastern or Central Time Zone, 2-day ground.
yeah.
And if you buy a great product like the KJ, you don't want to put an inferior product on there. So that's where I come in.
That's what I say. All right.
We'll make it easy for you to cook.
Well, thanks
love
for
it.
the steaks, Terry. Appreciate
Thank you very
it.
much,
Yes,
Jason.
sir.
All right. And Sheed, how are you going to
Thank you,
cook
guys.
these up for us today?
Keep it real nice and simple. I'm hitting with some American Prime, which is our beef rub. It's got a lot of smoked pepper, smoked salt, which you guys should know by now. I make and do myself. Going to finish it off in our cast iron. Butter it down, some rosemary, serve it with some chimichurri and some garlic mushroom sauce.
That damn
drooling
chimichurri is
right
good.
now.
All right,
I'm drooling.
You're putting your rub on there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Mouth is watering as he speaks.
Yeah, and you're adding what, the shrooms, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not the ones that are going to make us hallucinate.
Well, I mean, not right now. Not on camera.
Whoa. Yeah, totally different podcast there.
We transition, Judd.
Okay.
We transition
I
from
need a little heads up on the
shoot to grill to shoot to trip.
right.
All right. Well, what's the temperature that you have the Kamado Joe at?
I've got the KJ going at about 500 right now.
All right. And explain to people, though, when you're doing the steaks or any type of grilling, whether you're going to sear or not sear, that you're going to get it as hot as possible, correct?
Exactly. I want the outside to crust and sear and be as tight as possible. That's why I'm hitting it with a more heavily peppered rub, a little bit of salt, not to mask that beef flavor, but it's really getting a quick sear. I'm talking 90 seconds each side. Then I'm finishing it in my favorite cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
That thing's been with me 10 plus years, looks brand new, and I'm going to butter down. You guys will see, but it's I'm getting hungry. Can I go cook?
Yeah,
now?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was say, this is amazing.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and just for the record, like after hearing all this, because this is like kind of new to me, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be on anytime you want. you need a co-host, you just let me know.
Yeah, it's good, man. I mean, ever since I got addicted to this grilling thing, and obviously if you're watching, you do kind of the same thing, but you find different ways to cook different meats, and then you find different meats to buy. You find different things to cook it on. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing it. I got to keep saying this, is that they sell the Napoleon product here at Atlanta Grill Company, which is a propane grill. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the pellet grills. They got the Yoders over there. It's just it's kind of your style and what you're into. We do a lot of the KJ stuff here on Shoot to Grill just because that's what we're used to, and it's a learning curve if you've never done it before. But the steaks are so simplistic, you can totally screw them up, if that makes any sense.
Right, you can screw up and it's still money.
Yeah, so it's good. I kind of do it similar at the house. I'll put it on. They've got the cast iron, the cast iron skillet that you can put on one half side of the Kamado Joe. You put it on there for, like Sheed was saying, about 90 seconds. Get those black marks. Make sure the skillet's flipped a certain way so you're getting the thick lines. And then you take it off and you put it on the other side, and then you cook it to temperature. And you encrust it, before you put it on, and then afterwards you kind of baste it with a butter, with a little garlic, or Sheed's, seasoning, or any of the seasonings they have here at the Atlanta Grill Company. It's phenomenal stuff. All right, Judd Lormand, let's talk about CBS's SEAL Team.
Sure.
Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Let's first start with last time we were hanging out, you had a big fluffy beard.
I sure did. Yeah.
What happened to the beard?
So it hasn't aired yet, but we
spoiler alert.
Yeah, a little slight spoiler alert.
Right,
Not going to go into too much detail, but the last episode of our current season, season 2, right before we shot it, we found out that from the producers we were going to have to shave.
Okay.
And we're like, why? What? They tell us the reason, and we're like, half of us were crying like 12-year-old girls. Right. I mean, we were, no, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why? But it's for a good reason in the show. I don't want to spoil the specifics.
Right, I got you.
But it'll play out well on TV. But I tell you what, I felt like Samson, It was like, you don't cut Samson's hair. You cut the beard right before the break.
The episode, you guys are in the desert, and that's what you think of. I mean, for the rest of us, and
right.
You imagine the guys that are out in the desert, beating up and fighting and killing the bad guys. You don't shave. You just have these big. Right. I'm a badass, and you guys work out like it's going out of style.
Sure, and then you want to cut off the beard, which is half the image, and we were like, no.
It's like Samson to his hair.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. It's like cutting Sam's hair, And I it was the first time in my life that I ever had a beard for the show.
It was a good beard.
And man,
I can't grow a beard like that. That was a damn good beard.
I was like blown away because I thought the same thing. I thought I couldn't really grow one.
Right.
Like I'd have splotches and sure enough, the beard comes out during season 1 and I'm like, look at this.
You're a badass.
Walking a little taller, and had a little extra pep in my step. But anyhow, so at the end of this season 2, you'll get to see everyone on the show beardless.
Okay, so go through the casts.
Sure.
Go through because you have it's 5 or 6 main characters.
Yeah,
right?
there's a total of 7 of us.
Okay.
6 and myself, and we've got obviously David Boreanaz
from Bones,
Buffy, and Angel.
Yeah, Angel. That was a big one.
20 years of primetime television. This guy, David Boreanaz. So
successful runs.
Very much so. Yeah, and on top of that, we've got Max Terriot.
Okay.
Who was, I don't know if you ever seen Bates Motel.
You
ever seen Bates Motel?
I've seen episodes. I'm not a diehard fan.
He plays the brother.
The brother of
Norman Bates.
Yeah. Brother Bates.
Yes.
Brother Bates.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We got Brother Bates in there. AJ Buckley from CSI days, but now he looks and acts completely different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
I'm a CSI fan, and
he was the little lab guy in CSI, but now he's the boat up Texas Navy SEAL. We've got Neil Brown Jr. from, as you know, Neil.
I've known Neil for a very long time. Yeah.
Tony Trucks, who plays who originally played our logistics officer. Now she's going to officer school in the show.
Right.
And then Jessica Pare, who plays the CIA intelligence connection.
She comes from a long list of.
She's done a
Hollywood.
lot. Yeah. She's done a lot of stuff, but most
I'm talking
notably,
about her family and stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's in her blood.
Yeah, it's in her
as
blood.
We say, and but most notably, she was on Mad Men for years, and it's a a group of us that got together in the pilot, and literally all of us hit it off as actual friends right off the top. And
important.
I think it plays well into the show. The chemistry comes through in the program.
Yeah. Neil Brown Jr.
Yes.
How's he doing?
Oh, Neil's doing great, man.
Okay,
Neil's
because
doing great, yeah.
I got to tell you. So when I met, so
Here we go.
Yeah, well, I love Neil to death. I love his sister Landy to death, and that's how we actually met years and years ago when Neil Brown was a struggling actor, and he was nowhere near the size he is now on SEAL Team. He an Orlando guy, and we were talking about The Walking Dead when that show first got its pop,
right.
And his sister calls up and says, "My brother's on The Walking Dead."
Right.
And he's playing. He was like one of the, I don't know, I forget what their name was, but they were going in like some
the other faction or the other group.
Yeah, well, he was. They never explained whatever happened to him because they never died. So we get him on. It was cool. Anytime you could get other than the podcast, for those that don't know, I do a radio show. And so if you could get somebody like that on, from a big show. So he comes on. Then he books Battle Los Angeles.
Right.
I think that's the name of the movie.
Shot in Baton Rouge.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Not wrong LA?
Well, yeah.
So
exactly.
Big pop, big blockbuster movie. And then he does a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And then he lands the SEAL Team. You guys are going into season 3.
Yeah, well, we just wrapped up season 2, and we're on break right now, our hiatus. And as soon as we get the official word, we should go back to work, knocking on some wood somewhere in the second week of July.
So that's huge for an actor, and you have done a million different things, but as far as a steady gig.
Steady job, yeah.
This is huge.
It is. And, one thing I like to tell people, and this is just being 100% honest, anytime in this line of work that you can get regular work, that's great, right?
Sure.
If you can get regular work on something that's a hit, that's even better.
Yeah.
But I feel like doing this show and seeing the program that we put out there, it's like I really feel like, honestly, like we're doing a good service for the country in a way, like telling stories that I think in a lot of ways need to be told.
Hey, give us 30 seconds so we can thank some good people for making this happen. Big thanks to Northside Tool Rental for sponsoring Shoot to Grill. Any and all of your tool rental needs with 5 Atlanta area locations. From chainsaws to track loaders to wood splitters, I've rented just about everything from Northside Tool Rental. Check them out online, northsidetoolrental.com. Thanks, guys. See, that wasn't bad. Now back to the Shoot to Grill podcast. What's the response that you get from military? I was reading some reviews on social media, and they were all positive.
Yeah.
You always worry when you're doing Hollywood for something that this day and age is so serious.
Right.
You wonder if you're going to get some of those men and women that have actually been there and done that and say, hey, look, you guys are getting it totally wrong and it's disrespectful.
Correct.
But you're not getting that with this show.
No. And I got to say, it starts at the top. Our executive producers set out in the very beginning to try to keep this thing as authentic as possible. Hats off to them, but also to CBS for allowing us to do so. And one of the greatest things in the world, as a personal experience, has been getting to work with the actual guys who really have done this job, the SEAL job.
So they're on set.
Oh, yeah. We've got quite a few of our consultants that are Delta Force, Special Operators, Navy SEALs. We've got a Navy SEAL in our writer's room.
Wow.
So if it's not something they would do on a mission, it doesn't get written.
So have you ever pitched something in creative and said,
not me, man.
I got an idea where I'm going to do 2 backflips off the building. Like, brother,
right.
I don't know what you've been
What
reading.
are you thinking? Yeah.
That just doesn't happen.
Have you been grilling mushrooms again?
I think I'm getting this right. A little bit of SEAL Team 6 trivia.
Okay.
Is that there were never 6 teams. But we did that to throw off, I think it was the Germans, to make them think that there were 6 teams.
I didn't know that.
when we've never had 6 teams.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That's
I think I'm getting that right. I should have probably did that before we start doing the podcast, but I think that was the play, is that it was all
I'm gonna have to look that up.
trying to trick them.
That could be
Did
entirely
you
possible.
walk into your next creative and throw that around?
Throw that around.
They're
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
like, we're putting that in the next
Wow.
episode.
Yeah.
You're getting a raise, Judd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when you're out there and you guys film in L.A.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
right? And how real does it get, and how much do you have to train for the show?
So I'm in a position where my role in the show is lieutenant commander. So I'm the guy who briefs the team, lets them know what the job is. Then when they're on the job, hiking up and down these mountains in LA, outside of LA or whatever, and doing the tougher stuff, many episodes I'm in the air condition doing the radio.
Oh, you got a good one.
So yeah, I hear about that all the time from the guys. But for the most part, so much of our training is done on the fly, and they will stop production if we're not doing it right. It's not one of the on a lot of shows, it's shoot. But on ours, if someone doesn't know, if someone is not holding the gun right, if someone is not breaching the doorway the right way, stop shooting and let's practice this and let's get it right now.
Do the former Navy SEALs or the military, they'll step in?
Oh yeah, because they're
Right.
on set every day with us. The other thing that I'm that we're all super proud of is that they made it a thing at the very beginning of the show when they got picked up for season 1. They said, you know what? Let's extend all of our crew positions to as many vets as we can.
Oh, that's good.
So on a crew of 300 or 400 people,
Yeah.
literally, that's how big a TV show's crew is typically.
Right.
We have over 100 vets
That's
on our
good.
crew.
Yeah.
It's the highest ratio in Hollywood, and it's just amazing. So you've got every department, whether it's costumes, props, stunts. You've just got a ton of vets, and there's always someone there to straighten your patch or whatever, to make sure everything is.
Do you think
done.
all those little things help with the success?
Without a doubt, and it
little
never
minor
fails.
details.
Yes,
Yeah.
because and now I get it, because now that the show is on and the show is running, social media wise, I mean it's about every other day when someone makes a comment. Oh, I used to be in the branch of such and such, and you guys get it right. And I noticed the patch, I noticed the stars, I noticed the bag by the door.
Yeah.
Things that they catch that I didn't even catch when we were on set.
Well, you would think that if you were one of those individuals, you would almost take it as a sign of disrespect.
Yes,
If you're
they
going to
would,
put the
yeah.
time, money, and effort into doing a show,
Do it right.
like SEAL Team, and even if a button's off or a badge is off or something like that, you're like, hey, look, you asked Jax, what are you doing? Get it right. It's not
That's
that
right.
hard. Just do a little research and Google it.
Yes.
Because of the success of the show, Judd, and this is, we're getting ready to go into, like we were saying, 3 seasons of this. Are you finding other people, your peers in Hollywood, fans of the show?
Sure. Yeah, all the time.
Like who?
Oh gosh, man. You put me on the spot here. I got to think. But there's been several guys that I've run across in Hollywood. This just shocked me. You remember Faison from Scrubs?
Which one was it?
Not Zach, not the main guy.
The black
His-
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his
sure.
buddy.
Yeah.
So I ran into
He
him.
was
at a-
also in Can't Hardly Wait.
Yes,
he was in the
yes,
band,
That's right.
the
that's
Burger
right.
Band, yeah.
I ran into him at a party or something.
That's all.
He's-
Sorry,
and
sorry if you're watching. That's what I remember you from. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, "SEAL Team, right?" And I'm like, "What?"
That's
Yes,
cool.
It was crazy. It was the craziest feeling. But yeah, he was a fan of the show, and he was asking all the questions about the dog, because we have a dog on
Yeah,
the show.
right.
And people like that stop and say, "You're on SEAL Team." It never ceases to just totally shock me right out of my shoes.
Yeah, and you're a wrestling fan, something that
Oh,
we
yeah.
share. You're wearing a
Yes.
Andre the Giant shirt, actually.
Yes, and I was going to slip in a joke about the Kamado Joe. It sounds like a wrestling name, doesn't it?
It does. Like your
Totally.
Samoa Joe,
Like
of
Samoa
course.
Joe,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. So you buddies with a lot of these guys?
Mhm.
You are?
More so a few years ago, but still.
How'd you get hooked up with that? Is it through the business or just...
I spent time in college in Louisiana, where I guess when I was in high school I always wanted to be an actor, but then I realized you had to move to LA or New York back then, and I was having too much fun in South Louisiana, partying and with my classmates and that sort of thing.
Right.
So there was this long period of time where I just didn't know what I wanted to do with myself, but I knew I wanted to do something communicative, right?
Please tell me you wanted to get into wrestling.
I did. I wanted to get into wrestling. I never had the size for that, but I started doing a TV show in the 90s in Lafayette, Louisiana, because they had an access station there.
Uh-huh.
And it was at the height of the big Attitude, Nitro,
Sure.
Raw stuff.
Yeah.
Right time, right place. We started doing the show right before the Monday Night Wars took off.
Yeah.
And it was a talk show about wrestling.
Yeah.
So we would interview wrestlers. We would, give news tidbits. This was pre-internet age.
That's awesome.
And it just kind of exploded in our local market. And I did that for 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And a lot of the contacts I made through that, kept in touch with them and started promoting live events in Louisiana way back when, early 2000s. And one of the first guys I used was AJ Styles.
Yeah, sure.
Who's with
Atlanta boy.
Yeah, he's up there in Gainesville.
Great guy.
Yeah, he's a wonderful human being and an incredible performer. But some of those guys I still keep in touch with to this day.
Let me tell you, I got an AJ Styles story for you.
Okay.
So I don't know him well at all. So. But when he was with TNA Wrestling.
Yes.
And I was living in Orlando, I would see him all the time. Just never talk to him, right? Because I had buddies that were with the promotion at the time, or Impact Wrestling it's called now.
Right.
So the day my wife and I got engaged, we were flying out. I was transitioning jobs, actually moving here to Atlanta. We were flying to Las Vegas, and she didn't know I was going to propose. But we were going out to see a buddy of mine who's a wrestler, Bubba Ray Dudley.
Gotcha.
And he was with Impact Wrestling at the time. And so we're getting ready to board our flight, and sitting behind us is AJ Styles. And this is when he had just started to grow his hair out to the long, dark hair stuff. And I turned around and I said, hey, AJ, we briefly met, blah, blah, and this and this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Outside of Bubba Ray, AJ Styles was the last wrestler that was with me before I proposed, drunkenly proposed to my now wife after a Steel Panther concert at the MGM, the Foundation Room in Las Vegas. I was like, you know what? I think it's important for him to know that story, so please share. He was part of our lives.
We'll have to get him. I'll have to get in touch with him, and since he's so close.
Yeah, sure, that'd be
great.
great.
Try to get him to come down and grill with us one afternoon.
That would be phenomenal.
Right?
Well,
no pun intended. Pun intended.
That'd be great. He's a family guy too.
He sure is. Good dude, man, and he has not changed since the day I met him back in 2001 or whatever. Just down to earth, good family guy, good person all around.
So when you're with AJ being a wrestling fan and you have a hit television show, who marks out for who? Do you mark out for the wrestling trying to get spoilers, and does he mark out for the Hollywood?
Oh, man, I don't know. It's probably a little bit of both.
Really?
Yeah, because I know, a lot of the guys in the industry, in the wrestling industry, also, do entertainment projects on the side.
Sure.
And he's expressed interest in the past about possibly going in that direction, at some point.
Right.
So, yeah, we're just two big kids when it comes to wrestling and entertainment, both of us.
Yeah,
both of us love what we're doing, and I think we love what the other one's doing as well.
So sometimes it's a little awkward when you have these wrestling dudes over your house, let's say, and then you have another guest over, and you're doing like what we're doing today, and you're grilling out, and people are out in the patio, and they're like, "That's AJ Styles. I wonder if you could tell me, what's going to happen on Monday night."
Right? Can you give me a little scoop, a little inside stuff?
It gets a little awkward and weird. But like I was saying, AJ, he's a family dude. You're a family guy, and you would think that as an actor, especially before you got on SEAL Team and a steady gig, that's a tough run to put your family through.
Yeah. It was crazy there for years. I think I was acting professionally for 7 or 8 years prior to SEAL Team.
Yeah.
And when I used to know the number right off the top of my head, but the number of miles that I put on my car, because I was living in Louisiana and I was working the entire Southeast. So when you're in the acting industry and you don't have any name whatsoever, right? You're at the mercy of production.
Yeah.
And when they say go, you go.
Yeah.
And if you don't, someone else will.
All right.
And so there was many occasions where, like literally at 4:30 p.m. in Louisiana, I get a call from the agent and say, "Hey, you turned in a tape for such and such project in Atlanta." Like, yeah. Well, they want to see you. The director wants to meet you or whatever. Okay, great. Tomorrow morning at 10:30.
You got to drive over.
So yeah, now that's whatever, however many hours that is. That's 10 hours from now, and it takes me 8 to get there. So
you got to nudge the wife and say, "Gotta go."
Gotta go. My bag stayed packed at the door, and fortunately, I bought a Prius to save on
save on
make
the
it
gas.
a little more economical sense. And so I was a traveling hustler for years, man. I kept a coat rod in the back with your changes of clothes.
Was there a gig that you really wanted and you didn't get?
Oh, gosh.
Which one?
All of them, but I'll tell you the one that really got me. The biggest one that really got me was a movie called The Magnificent Seven, the remake.
Yeah.
A couple years ago.
Tarantino film.
No, this one was Antoine.
Well, that was The Hateful Eight.
That was Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
This is Magnificent Seven.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very, very easy to confuse
Got it.
those two.
I'm wrong. You're right. Yeah.
Magnificent Seven was Denzel.
Yeah, Denzel.
And he's like on my bucket list. I want to work with Denzel, right? So I find out about Magnificent Seven, and it's shooting in Baton Rouge,
Perfect.
my hometown at the time.
Right.
And then I get to I get to read for it. I go in, meet the director 2 or 3 times. They check my schedule for. It was the one that like almost happened and didn't.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's like the only Denzel movie I haven't seen because I'm still bitter about it.
Little upset?
It hurts.
Big part?
That one hurts. I don't even remember because they checked my dates for multiple parts. So I don't even remember the roles, but I just know I was this close to working with Denzel and didn't get to.
Hey, give us 30 seconds so we can thank some good people for making this happen. A big thanks to Jarrett with Oxendine Law Firm, oxlawfirm.com. What does Jarrett do? Well, Jarrett will take care of any divorce that you might be thinking about having. He handles divorces in the state of Georgia and especially the greater Atlanta area. oxlawfirm.com. Thanks, Jarrett. See, that wasn't bad. Now back to the Shoot to Grill podcast. What about a series, whether it's a television series or a movie series that you're a fan of, that you want to be a part of, like a Star Wars or even
Star Wars would be probably at the top of the list as far as
me too. Oh, God.
I'm a huge Star Wars nut.
Me too.
Any of those, any of the Star Wars films, if anyone's listening, I'll work it.
I'll be your assistant.
I'll work for nothing, right?
I just want to be around.
Yeah, right.
I just want to be around.
As far as like TV series go, over here I'd love to do Ozark, the one that's shot here.
Sure.
It's really tough though, because like right now working on SEAL Team, that takes up 9 months out of the year.
Well, can you do anything else while you're on that?
You can, but only if the schedule allows, which if you're on every episode, it's really like it's not even worth trying.
Right.
You probably could contractually. I think you're allowed to do a couple things, but we don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so it's just a big logistics nightmare.
I noticed, when I look at your history of all the stuff you've done, it's a little bit different than some other actors, actresses that go off to do big series like SEAL Team. You never did a Law and Order. And
Never
it's like
did, no.
Every actor has been on a Law and Order. Even
I'm the one that hasn't, right?
Even like Bradley Cooper, I think, was on a Law and Order. So you've never done like a Law and Order.
24 was another one.
You never did a 24.
Never did a 24.
Never did a Walking Dead.
Nope.
Nope. And all
I know.
What would you miss the audition or what?
No, it's crazy. Well, 24 and Law and Order, those deals shot on the West Coast, and I was like, all of my projects were Southeast, just Southeast. And then Walking Dead, when I finally started auditioning for that, so did the rest of the world.
Yeah.
In other words, it was such a huge show that it became like, you had actors this is true, you had actors in London that were putting themselves on tape, sending in auditions for the show, saying, I'll work as a local.
Well, a lot of
in
them are
Atlanta
Brits.
because it was such a huge hit.
Andrew Lincoln's a Brit. Maggie's a Brit. Yeah. Jesus, he's a Brit.
Yeah, that's right. And everybody it was in such high demand for actors. They wanted to be on the show. So it was so ridiculously tough to get on there.
Do you know what part you were reading
Man,
for?
I've read for like 3 or 4, and I cannot remember now. It escapes me. I'd have to look it up. So let me tell you this: Walking Dead is one of those shows where they worry a lot about spoilers, right? Mm-hmm. And that was one where every time I read for that show, the material you get in for the audition, it's total what we call dummy sides. So it's made up material. They change the name of the character, and they do something similar to try to get the vibe of the character they're looking for.
Right.
But you'll never see the words from that audition in any show.
I thought when you were going to say when you walked out of the audition room, it just burned.
No, yeah, it just dissolved. It was a disappearing ink or whatever. Yeah.
You walk out and you're like, why is my hand on fire right now? The damn Walking Dead scripts just blow up.
Your laptop explodes, whatever it is. Yeah. No, they're really protective on their scripts and their storyline. So
yeah.
But there was a couple times where I would be watching the show because I was a fan of the show, of course. And there was a couple times where I'd see a character and say, "That's the guy I read for." I can tell. Because
by
the
what
scene was very similar, not the same. The names have been changed. Who
could you have seen you portraying on The Walking Dead?
That's a tough one, man. I don't know. Because
you've got that like Rick Grimes. I'm a Walking Dead fan. You got that. I mean, I know Rick's character was already taken, and Andrew Lincoln is a phenomenal actor. I think his comedy stuff is great. He's actually, I think, before he did the serious stuff, he was a comedic actor.
He was. And what is the name of the guy? You're gonna make me look it up.
Norman Reedus.
No. There's another guy that. See, okay, let me
give me
tell you
the
this.
character.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I can't remember.
What does he do? What does he look like?
He's like the everyday guy. You got to remember, so prior to SEAL Team, I never had any facial hair. I was always clean cut. And so you might not have felt that Rick Grimes vibe at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so back then I was playing a lot of straight-edge cops, detectives, the husband, just
stereotyped into that.
The clean-cut guy,
right? Yeah.
And so, the guy that that I could probably see myself back then, anyway, when I was reading for it, identifying with, and I'm going to have to look him up.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I can't remember. I'll tell you right now. Let's see. We're pulling it up. Walking Dead.
Is he still on the show?
He's still on the show. And he's been on there for maybe 5 or 6 years now. And this guy. Yeah, Ross.
He plays Aaron.
Yes.
I think he lives in Atlanta, I think.
Does he?
I think
I ran
so.
into him in L.A. When I first started doing SEAL Team. Heck of a guy.
Yeah.
He's a really good.
We've had him on the radio show. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Good guy. And but that type of image was closer to what I was playing back then.
I think isn't he a gay guy on the show?
I think he does play that.
I think he is.
I just meant physically.
I mean, yeah, I don't.
Clean cut guy.
You're going to pull off the gay guy? I don't know, man. If so, I don't know. You're the lead gay guy. you're the husband in that relationship. I'm going to tell you that right now. But look, the success of the show is phenomenal. Judd, you're such a great guy, and I love I love seeing that kind of stuff, man. I love seeing, because what happens for people like me, whether it's doing the radio show or the podcast, is once you get the big gigs, you can't get a hold of you guys anymore.
Right.
You don't have phone numbers. You have agents.
Answer the phone anymore. Yeah.
You don't have that stuff anymore. But I appreciate you coming on. I know that Sheed has got that steak, and if you look behind you,
oh, here we go.
He's putting the butter on it as we speak. Now these are fillets, filet mignon, right? Filet mignon.
I'm so excited right now.
So in the way that he's doing it, and he's going to have to explain it all again with the sides, but he did some mushrooms here.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also got what the hell is that called? That what's that? It's a chia pet. It's the green stuff. So he's going to bring this over to us, and we're going to feast
I'm so
on
pumped
these
up
steaks.
Right now.
Terry Atlanta Steaks and Seafood.
Ooh.
That's the new name. We got it.
Listen. Oh, my gosh. Thank you,
Look
sir.
at that. We even got nice plates this go around, too. We got some forks behind you. She, can you grab me those forks, please, for us? There you go. Thank you, sir.
Lower this mic. Here we
All
go.
right, there you go. There you go, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Take
Thank
that.
you.
And I know that we got on the grill cam, Sheed cooking it up. And he explained at the beginning of the podcast the temperature and how he's doing. But this is like, that's something you get
This is beautiful.
at a restaurant. You know what I mean?
I know it. I love it.
And we're doing it on a freaking podcast. All right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Fellas, dig in.
Oh, my God.
Yourself a little nibble here and there. Get yourself a little chimichurri on there.
I swear to God, Sheed, I'm going to adopt you.
I feel like we'd have a lot of questions to answer during the holidays. Oh my gosh, just be so awkward for everyone in the room.
It'd be like Blindside.
Would Rachel let me come on?
We're going to take Christmas pictures like, who's the big black guy in your Christmas photo?
He's been there every year.
He's with him every year.
Amazing.
Thank you.
This is so good. So, explain how you're able to get this steak, the encrusted on the outside, and keep it so moist and tender on the inside. Because I think a lot of people that are grilling are going to struggle with that.
Well,
because you're going to overcook it.
That's true. That's true. You've just got to pay attention to it. You can't really do anything else while you're doing this, just because time is of the essence here.
Yeah.
It's so tender you can literally just pull it
It's
apart.
like, you just pull it apart. Look.
Yeah.
You don't even need a knife.
We don't have. I know you have to get another
overhead.
fork job, but we don't have the budget for knives.
We don't.
We
don't need
not
it.
till episode 6.
Yeah,
Knives.
yeah. The second season, you're talking about going to the third season. Yeah. The second season of Shoot to Grill, we'll have knives.
right.
Yeah, we're gonna have knives, and it might not even be plastic on that. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So you like we said, we started the KJ up at a high temperature. Get it searing. Don't be afraid. And that's sort of how people end up overcooking. They're afraid that they'll let it sear too long. But you want that crust on the outside.
Yeah.
Get you a nice, heavy, peppered rub. My rub's got it. The American Prime. Come up here, Atlanta Grill Company, grab a rub. Or just make one at home. Sear it both sides. High heat, 90 seconds each side. Make sure while that's going, you got your skillet on too.
Oh.
Keep your cast iron on with the steak. That way you're just moving it right over. Cutting that travel time from heat source.
And here's the thing: if you're going to grill at your house, the most important thing to remember is not to suck. Because you don't want people leaving saying that I just had the crappiest meal at Judd Lormand's house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I know exactly what
You want to make sure that you're, and you know, not everybody can adopt Sheed. So
That's true.
you got to make sure you do it. And we'll have all these recipes, and Sheed'll, break it down on our website for you, so you can cook it like he's cooking it. And it is absolutely amazing. I mean, with the sides and the way that it's cooked and the steak from Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, that plays a part. You got to get the good meats, the best of the best. If you're going to take the time and effort to cook on your grill, whatever that grill might be, you got to make sure you have good meat on your grill.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
This is amazing.
All right, we're going to eat. So some people to thank: Atlanta Grill Company here in Roswell, Georgia, where we shoot the podcast. Can't thank Jason and the crew enough for helping us out with the set and everything. They're great. Terry Smith with Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Great steaks, Terry. Nicely done, my friend.
Great stuff.
We couldn't do this podcast without you.
It would just be two guys talking. Kind of boring.
Yeah, we would have to order out.
It'd be like every other podcast that's on there.
We'd have to dinner dash it or something. We'd have to.
Or something like that.
We'd have to fake it like we're doing it, but you can get a hold of Sheed through your website, right?
Yep, or Instagram, whichever.
PhillipsBBQCo.com.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What
So.
about Nate? We got to thank Nate.
Oh, I'm getting to Nate.
Okay.
Nate's.
The man you guys don't see who does it all.
Yeah, Nate does everything, and he walks around half asleep or high, one of the two. But Nate Hansen, who's the executive producer for this podcast, he also is the producer for my radio show as well. He works tirelessly to make sure that you guys get this podcast, and hope you enjoy it. And of course, our special celebrity guest, Judd Lormand from CBS's SEAL Team, Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock.
right.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say before we go is that you guys. All the cast and crew. Well, at least I know that you and Neil Brown Jr. do it because we follow each other on social media. Sure. You guys work your asses off on social media to pop the show. I've never seen any actor or actress or celebrity, for that matter. How do I say this? Passionately promote your show. It's not that shameless plug stuff. It's passion.
It's for real.
It really is.
It is. I thank you for noticing that because I think I've been on the social media platforms for years, obviously, but like when I went out to LA to do SEAL Team, I was one of these guys who said, you know what, as an actor, I'm pretty much, I hustle in every department, right?
Yeah, wear many hats.
I mean, like I say, I got my clothes in the back. I'm willing to drive across country, but I never really pushed myself on social media. I don't know. I just didn't. That was the part of the thing that I just said, nah, I'll let the kids do that, right?
Did they tell you to do this, or are you doing this?
No. And then when I got on the show and we started shooting season 1, I saw the castmates, doing this, and I said, yeah, okay, this is cool. I can do this, and it really just started coming naturally because we're all having so much fun doing the show, and then we're getting to do things that I never dreamed of, like on our off time. We get picked. I got picked up in a Black Hawk, flown out to the desert, the Mojave Desert, and taken to an army base where they train the guys right before they're deployed overseas.
Wow.
Things like that, getting to meet the troops and that sort of thing. You want to post that, for the world to see what they do. And then, and like I say, we're proud of the show that we're doing. So no one tells us to do any of it. We just,
I think it's cool that when you post the stuff, it's the behind-the-scenes stuff that you're not seeing on the television show. Yeah. And then it also makes sense when you watch the show. You're like, oh, that's cool. And it's done in a way where it's not that shameless self-promotion.
Sure.
You and Neil actually, you buy into your job, which is cool. It makes me respect it a lot more. So that's pretty cool.
Well, thanks for noticing.
All right, so watch SEAL Team, CBS, Wednesday nights, 10 o'clock. Also, Ryan and the crew at creategraphix.net, they supplied me with this shirt, and we'll find ways if anybody wants a Grill Ninja shirt.
Oh, I need one.
Yeah, isn't that badass?
Yeah, Ryan, hook a brother up.
My shirt, since you're talking about your shirt?
What's that?
Can I talk about my shirt?
Yeah, what is that? What is it?
Meatitarian.
Meatitarian. I need one of those to walk around L.A. with.
There you go.
Meatitarian.
A lot of people off.
Yes.
I
love it.
Believe it or not, we get people here on this podcast that the rock stars, they're all vegetarians.
Oh, I know.
It's the craziest thing in the world.
That's what I say. I'm out there in L.A. all the time, and so I need one of these to wear around.
Yeah, his shirts. My shirt's comfortable. No offense, right? Phil, that shirt's really comfortable as well. So we'll have this stuff available for you. Just keep checking the site. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. It's Shoot to Grill. Again, Judd Lormand, Sheed, thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
See you guys.
Live rebelliously, drink responsibly with Bedlam Vodka. I tell you, they are the best at what they do. I am in love with Bedlam Vodka. Goes down smooth, has consistency. Demand your Bedlam Vodka, and we appreciate Bedlam Vodka for sponsoring the Shoot to Grill podcast. BedlamVodka.com. Thanks to CreateGraphix.net for all the signage and the shirts that they supply for us here on the Shoot to Grill podcast. Now, are you in need of some signage or shirts or maybe something for your company? You don't have to be here in Atlanta where we do the podcast to get hooked up with CreateGraphix.net.